Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for joining me here today at the beach. I mean, we got some crazy ocean out here, even some monkeys in the back. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Today, check it out. The topic for today is about focusing and keeping our attention. You'll probably find that when you're doing a task, I mean, that's why you're watching this video. You want to learn how to stay focused. But you're probably finding that when you're doing a task, maybe it's your homework, maybe it's some, I don't know, whatever hobby that you like to do, like reading or whatever it is that you're trying to stay focused, you find that your mind wanders so much. Like you're literally you're reading a page like for your homework, right? Go through like a paragraph and you just switch tabs and go on YouTube or go on Instagram or pick up your phone. We're so trained to be unfocused in today's society. Like the modern world is so filled with all these things that are eye-grabbing and make us just like gravitate towards different things. Like we can't even control ourselves. We're being pulled by different forces all the time. And you probably notice that with social media, it is like insanely prevalent. You probably see that when you're going on like Instagram, for example, you can probably see 100 different posts in like a minute. 100 different posts. The problem with this is that we're not focusing on any single post. You really like see something and in half a second you move on to the next thing. Like the way that social media is made is that it's designed to keep us on there for the longest amount of time, and so they'll keep putting all these different things at you and you don't really have to like have good focus. It's just like you look and you keep scrolling. And so this type of mindset, where not mindset, maybe like the way we think is trained to be unfocused. And so when we're trying to be focused, we can't even be focused. So how do we combat this? How do we control our minds? How do we stop being like going on our phone, like literally being dragged around? Like actually control our minds. How do we do that? And so obviously, I guess the first thing would be to stop using social media. But for some of us, that's sort of difficult, right? We need social media to communicate with people. Maybe it's for school, maybe it's for friends, whatever it is. But we need social media to actually communicate with others. And so that's sort of hard to just get away from it. But we could probably, if you go to like the settings or whatever, like the screen time of your phone, you could probably see how much screen time you have on certain apps. And you'll find that like there's a crazy amount of time spent on social media. Like if it's a few hours, then maybe it's time to cut it down a bit. You probably aren't messaging people that long. It's probably you just scrolling down like aimlessly without any purpose. You're just scrolling without thinking, and then you just stack up a bunch of hours. So being more aware of what we're actually doing on social media while we're on it can really help in reducing the amount of time that is just very useless and just like wasting time. And so I don't think it's just social media as well. I think that all these different things in the modern world, like TV, video games, all these things are very hyper stimulating. They are so hyper stimulating that we just become addicted to it. And it's hard to stop. And so understanding that maybe we have to take a step back, reflect on why we're using these things, and actually making efforts to stop these things. Because I know that video games for me, that's a problem. When I was younger, I used to play a lot, and now I don't really play too much, luckily. It's just a lot of time wasted. And would you want to spend time leveling up in a video game when you could be actually leveling up in real life? So that's something to think about when you're playing video games. I think that's like, we just waste so much time. We put so much time into this thing that really doesn't affect our life. And all these people are saying, the scientists are saying like, video games are so good for you, helps with like strategizing and problem solving. But those guys are actually wrong. Like, if you really think about it, you're tricking yourself into believing that video games are good just because you're addicted. Video games are not good. It's just a waste of time. But let's move on from that. I don't want to too much about video games. So just understanding that like all these hyper stimulating things in the modern age are just so bad for us. Just trying to lower it at least, and recognizing that it's bad and taking the steps to stop that will really help. These biker game, right? Yeah, so I don't want to just talk about video games. I know that like I'm trying to like talk about all the different things in the modern world that is very hyper stimulating. We should be cutting back on those things. They actually ruin our focus, ruin our thoughts, and the more we use them, the more our brain is wired into just like designed to not stay focused. So cut down on that. And I guess that's pretty difficult to say. It's easier said than done, but just reflecting on how you can stop doing that for yourself, I mean, hey, that would be a great step forward. And so the next question I want to ask you though is if you meditate. I think meditation is like this thing that's sort of weird. It's like, you meditate, it's sort of like this, old time thing, not like why would you meditate? But there's so many cultures in our world that really meditation was like a part of their life, like a key part of their life. And really in, I guess, recent times has meditation become more popular in Western culture. And so people are actually realizing the benefits from meditation. And one of the key benefits is just being able to control your thoughts, being able to stay focused, aware of your mind. And when it comes to staying focused and losing attention, the reason why we're doing that is because we're not really aware of our thoughts. We're not really being mindful of what we're thinking about. We're just letting our mind basically drag us and bring us to wherever it wants, and we're just following it. Instead, we should be the masters of our mind, right? We should be able to conquer and take over our mind and make it think what we want to think. A lot of the thoughts that come into our mind are just so random. It seems like we have no control over it. But meditation allows us to be more aware of it and control our thoughts. And so for the type of meditation that you can start off with, that is probably the most basic, is breath awareness. Is basically like push-ups for your mind. It's like exercising your mind. So whenever you're meditating, right? Whenever a random thought comes in, you become aware of it and then refocus back onto your breath. And each time it's like a push-up. Each time it's like a bicep curl for your mind. It gets stronger, it gets more and more strong at staying focused and controlling your thoughts. So try that out, guys. This is like meditation's becoming more and more important in today's world. Like, there's no wonder that people are just not focused anymore. We don't even train our minds. Instead, we just let our minds just get pulled around with social media and all the different hyper-stimulating things of our world. I think when we reach this level of mastery over our mind, where we're able to control our thoughts, where we're able to stay focused and just like pay attention to whatever task is at hand, we'll find that we're so much more productive. There's actually like a statistic out there that's like saying that the average amount of proper deep work that an average person has in a day is 1 hour. 1 hour. Like, imagine if you can increase that hours for, however like many hours you want to work. Because most of us, we're like studying for, all day, but are we actually studying? Are we actually putting in like proper deep work where we're so focused, where we're not getting distracted, where we're not picking up our phone? Once we get to this level of productivity, we're able to do so much with it. Whatever task that you're doing, maybe it's just your homework, maybe it's like a hobby that you're doing, like reading, or I don't know, like whatever, like you're learning something, you're able to be more focused and spend less time, basically, right? Less time to even do more work. So that's like a crazy thought to have, that once we master our mind, we'll be able to just be so productive and get so much more done. So this is something that we should be able to strive for, that we should want to strive for. And it's honestly easy. It's just the steps, like meditating and using less like of these social medias. Is like, sometimes it's not as attractive to do. A lot of us are too addicted to get off these things and start doing the right tasks. But once we are able to do those things, like, dude, the benefits are insane. So just a quick reminder, like, we can make these small steps, these hard steps right now, and it will literally change our life in the future. Just think about that. So that's it for this video. I hope it helped, and I hope that it just brought some new thoughts into your mind. If you have any comments, like, I'd love to hear them, and just continue the discussion below. And if you enjoyed this video, think of subscribing. We'll be making more of these type of videos in the future, and I think you'll like it. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.